Hey, it's Mark with our Museum of Us. This is chapter 22, Mario's Red Trunk. And so, in full disclosure, it was my trunk. I bet you knew that. But I want to show it to you and talk about what I think is the cool thing about giving a kid a trunk to have for their whole lifetime. First of all, the trunk itself, this red army trunk that my mom and dad gave to me when I was 12 years old, and it's still in pretty good shape. They did a great job of antiquing it, and I just loved it. But a couple of points generally. First of all, notice that they gave that to me when I was 12 years old, and here I am 99 years old, not really, 50 something years later, and there's the trunk, and it's still kind of like my trunk. The second thing, I just can't think of a better gift to give a child from the standpoint of identity and security and a sense of being. And so I just thought they nailed it when I was 12. And so all my stuff has gone in there. And I talk about it in the book, of course. We didn't steal too much from each other as kids, but we did. I was in a big family, wonderfully fun, big family. And you always wanted to have your own space. So in that way, they created for me my own space. But let's look inside. First of all, as described in the chapter, they lined it with Boy Scout lining, rafters, so that was a big part of who I was at 12. And then in it, I keep things like, my stuff. This is my museum of me. So here's my Eagle Award. The Boy Scout thing kind of worked out. I have my stocking from when I was a kid. One of our favorite photos is when three of us actually, when we lived in Utah for a while, had these, and it was a classic Christmas picture. Have that in there. Of course, baby pictures. Look at that cute guy. So that's in there. This is a Father's Day card that my daughter sent me when she went rafting. We went rafting together on the Kenai River. Good memory of her artwork that she created. Photos. This is my son when he was first born. Our son when he was first born. And then we used to go out to Big Bend, Texas a lot and found some abandoned old mines and things like that, and found this cool ore that has some gold flakes in it. We believe that was related to Cactus Jack. That's a myth, and probably not anything true about it. And then things like our family estate in East Texas, we had an old barn, and one of my uncles made from the wood of that barn a model of the barn and gave that to us as a present back in. He was born in 21. And this is the family barn, so a model of that I keep in here. And so you can see there's just this wonderful way of keeping all this stuff small and big. I talked about the German Stein that my high school sweetheart gave me. Love it. I cherish that quite a bit. It's just so beautiful. And that's in here. And then another project I've been working on. This is a native kayak that was built for me by a gentleman up in Kotzebue, Alaska, when I asked him to describe how to build this model. And here's that model that I keep safe. This is actually my next book called Sitting on Water, and more about that later. But all of that in the trunk. So I would offer that trunk's pretty cool and great place to keep my stuff, even today when I'm a little bit older than 12 years old. And so I'd encourage you to think about that for creating museums of me in your world and in your family. And a lot of the people that I've talked to, there is a family trunk somewhere in their family that somebody's got. It's not always clear about where the trunk came from, who got it, and etc. So in the chapter I described in detail, parents did this for Marky when he was 12, what they went through and what it's meant to me, period. So it's something I would be comfortable passing on. But now I want to make a little bit of a leap with you. This is still analog. This is still a thing that my children or whoever has to deal with. And I would argue the best thing I can do for them is to simply go through a little bit like I'm doing now and saying on camera, just like this, this is that piece of wood from our family barn that Uncle Orrin carved in the exact shape of the barn. When I was 14, I got to paint the ceiling of it. So this is really cool. I really very value that. But if my children don't want to keep it, at least they've got the story of me talking about it. And that's the whole point of making it from Mark's Museum of Me to our Museum of Us by capturing it digitally. And so the other side of this is that in my mind, at a word picture, I would say, can you get all of your valuable heirloom stuff into one trunk so that what you're passing along is just that amount of space taken up, period. And good luck with that. I don't think any of us can reasonably do that, but that's a stretch goal. But I've got one more stretch goal for you. Let's pretend that my Eagle badge is a hard drive. If I digitize all the stories like I'm doing now, like you will be doing, I hope, put it on a hard drive, and instead of stuff in a trunk, how about digital stories on a hard drive? And that's my stretch goal for you. And if done, then instead of having a trunk to deal with, you're saying to your children, grandchildren, friends, family, here you go, here's all my stories, here's all my stuff in digital form, not analog. You get the whole idea. So when you get a chance, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have more stories coming up, and I'd love for you to hear those. But for now, thank you for letting me share my trunk with you on Museum of Us.